The Battle of Adwa, fought on March 1, 1896, in the rugged highlands of northern Ethiopia, stands as one of the most defining moments in African and global history. A moment when an African nation not only resisted, but decisively defeated a European empire at the height of colonial expansion. Its origins go back to 1889, when Emperor Menelik II signed the Treaty of Wuchale with Italy, believing it was a simple diplomatic agreement, only to discover later that the Italian-language version falsely declared Ethiopia a protectorate of Italy. This deliberate mistranslation was part of Italy's plan to expand its territory in the Horn of Africa. But Menelik II refused to accept subjugation and instead began assembling one of the most unified and determined armies the continent had ever seen. Across Ethiopia's vast and diverse empire, people answered the emperor's call. Amhara, Oromo, Tigrayan, Somali, Sidama, Guraj, Afar, and others marched for weeks to defend their homeland, bringing with them not only weapons but a deep, shared commitment to sovereignty. Menelik II also skillfully coordinated supplies, communication, and logistics, ensuring his army could endure the harsh terrain and long marches. Meanwhile, Italy, led by General Oreste Baratieri, underestimated Ethiopia's resolve, misjudging its military strength and assuming that modern European guns and tactics would guarantee victory. But Ethiopia had spent years acquiring modern rifles, artillery, and ammunition from global markets. And Menelik's commanders, Ras Alula, Ras Mengesha, Ras Mikhail, and the brilliant Empress Taitu Betul, carefully studied Italian movements and used the mountainous terrain to their advantage. They also inspired morale by emphasizing that the fight was not only for land, but for the honor and dignity of every Ethiopian citizen. In the early hours of March 1st, the Italian brigades advanced in separate columns through unfamiliar valleys, believing they could surprise Menelik's forces. Instead, they walked straight into a coordinated Ethiopian counterattack. As dawn broke, tens of thousands of Ethiopian warriors surged down from the hills, overwhelming the Italians with sheer numbers, tactical skill, and total control of the terrain. The soldiers' knowledge of rivers, ridges, and hidden passes allowed them to encircle and isolate Italian units with precision. By midday, the Italian army was shattered. Thousands were killed, captured, or forced to flee. The humiliating defeat compelled Italy to sign the Treaty of Addis Ababa later that year, formally recognizing Ethiopia's independence and marking one of the only times in modern history that a European colonial power was defeated outright by an African army in a major battle. The victory also elevated Ethiopia as a diplomatic power, enabling Menelik II to strengthen alliances with other nations and secure Ethiopia's borders. Yet the significance of Adwa extends far beyond Ethiopia's borders. Across Africa, the victory became a symbol of hope, dignity, and resistance, proving that colonialism was not invincible and inspiring future liberation leaders such as Kwame Nkrumah, Jomo Kenyatta, Patrice Lumumba, Julius Nyerere, and Nelson Mandela. For a continent struggling under the weight of foreign rule, Ethiopia stood as living proof that African identity, leadership, and unity had global power. The ripple effects crossed the Atlantic as well, especially throughout the Caribbean, where descendants of enslaved Africans long for examples of Black sovereignty and self-determination. Ethiopia, and especially the triumph at Adwa, became a cultural and political beacon for people in Jamaica, Haiti, Trinidad, Barbados, and beyond. The Pan-African movement embraced Ethiopia as a symbol of unbroken African pride, while the Rastafari movement elevated Ethiopia to sacred status, viewing it as a spiritual homeland and a testament to Black strength. The battle inspired poets, writers, and artists across the diaspora, embedding Adwa in songs, literature, and cultural memory. For the African diaspora, Adwa shattered the racist myths that had justified centuries of colonization and slavery, offering a powerful counter-narrative that African people were not only capable of self-rule, but capable of defeating an empire. In this way, the Battle of Adwa did more than secure Ethiopian independence. It reshaped global consciousness, becoming a story of unity, resistance, and triumph that still inspires movements for justice and freedom today. It remains a reminder that courage, strategy, and collective action can alter the course of history, leaving a legacy that transcends generations and borders.